The morning sun shone gently over the quiet neighborhood of Northbrook. Inside a neat and cozy house, Jennifer Miller was busy in the kitchen. The smell of fresh coffee filled the warm space, and small white pots with herbs lined the counter. Jennifer always found peace in simple things like that. She had woken up a little earlier than usual that day to make breakfast. At 32 years old, Jennifer had a calm and thoughtful way about her. She wore a plain but stylish dress and was gently fixing her shoulder-length brown hair when she glanced at the clock. 6:45 a.m. Still plenty of time. "Honey, toast is ready," she called softly. Everything on the table was simple but nicely arranged. The oatmeal had fresh blueberries on top, and the toast was golden and crisp, just the way Michael liked it. Michael, her husband, looked up from his newspaper and smiled. "Thanks, Jenny, the toast is perfect as always. Having your breakfast in the morning is the best way to start my day." He was wearing a plain navy blue suit, ready for another day at work. Michael was a senior vice president at an IT company, but he never showed off. That's how they both were, happy to live a quiet, honest life. They had been married for 5 years and truly understood each other. Just as Michael lifted his coffee mug, Jennifer's phone rang. She looked at the screen. "Dad," she thought, "why is he calling so early?" She answered, and her father's excited voice came through. "Jenny, tonight is our anniversary. We're having a family dinner at Lucille Blue. Can you and Michael come at 7:30? Jennifer paused. Lucille Blue was a fancy restaurant in the rich part of Chicago. Her parents liked showing off, especially her mother Patricia. They lived in a big house in Wilmette, full of expensive things and grand decorations. Jennifer had never felt comfortable with all of it. Just then, her phone buzzed with a message from her younger sister Ashley. "Hurry up and answer. Are you going to skip their anniversary again? How long are you going to be stubborn like this?" Ashley worked as the sales director at their dad's real estate company. She liked to act like she was more important than she really was and often looked down on Jennifer. Jennifer let out a long sigh and looked at Michael. He gave her a soft, understanding nod. His eyes told her, "Whatever you decide, I'll support you." She took a deep breath. "All right, we'll come." Even though she said yes, a strange feeling settled in her chest. Her life in Chicago was good. She had a stable job as a senior HR manager, a caring husband, and a peaceful home, but her relationship with her family was the one thing that still felt heavy in her heart. "You okay?" Michael asked gently, holding his coffee cup with both hands. Jennifer gave him a small smile. "Yeah, I think so." But deep down, she wasn't so sure. Every time she had dinner with her family, she came home feeling worse. Still, tonight was their anniversary. Maybe, just maybe, it would be different this time. That evening, rain lightly fell over downtown Chicago. The streets sparkled under the glow of streetlights, and raindrops made the sidewalks shine like glass. Jennifer stepped out of a taxi in front of Lucille Blue. The restaurant stood tall and elegant, with creamy white walls and gold trim. It was an old building from the 1920s, now one of the fanciest places in the city. Rich people came here to celebrate special moments. She looked at her reflection in the glass door. Her dark blue dress, simple yet graceful, hugged her gently. She had picked it carefully from Taylor. Michael had called earlier to say he'd be late due to work, but just thinking of him made her feel steadier. He always gave her strength. "Miss Miller, welcome," said Andrew, the floor manager, with a polite smile. His posture was perfect, and everything from his bow tie to his gestures showed years of training. "I'm meeting my family," Jennifer said quietly. "Right this way." Inside, the restaurant was beautiful. Crystal chandeliers lit the room softly, and quiet piano music floated in the air. Tables were set with white tablecloths and shiny silverware. Around her, well-dressed people laughed and chatted, enjoying their dinners. Jennifer's heart started to beat a little faster as Andrew led her through the room. Something didn't feel right. It was as if her body knew what was about to happen before her mind did. When she reached the table, her stomach dropped. Her parents and Ashley had already finished eating. The plates were messy, lobster shells, empty wine glasses, and steak bones scattered across the table. A fancy bottle of wine, nearly empty, sat in the middle. Her mother, Patricia, smiled as if nothing was wrong. She wore a Chanel jacket, pearls around her neck, and heavy makeup. Her voice was sweet, but fake. "Oh, Jenny, you're late. You'll take care of the bill, won't you?" Jennifer stood still. She understood right away what they were doing. Her father Robert looked a bit uncomfortable. shifting in his seat. His expensive suit looked worn, and even his gold watch seemed duller than before. Ashley let out a sharp laugh. Still late as always, she sneered. She wore a flashy dress and had her newest phone laid out on the table like a trophy. Jennifer glanced at her watch. 7:30 on the dot. She wasn't late, she was exactly on time. A quiet, cold anger started to grow inside her. She knew they had made the reservation earlier on purpose. They wanted to make her look bad. "I'd like to check the reservation time," Jennifer said calmly. Andrew blinked, surprised. "Pardon? Can I speak with the manager?" she said clearly. The mood at the table shifted. Patricia's smile vanished. Robert sat up straight. Ashley stopped laughing. Even the people at nearby tables seemed to stop and listen. The music in the background, Chopin, seemed suddenly heavier, more serious. Patricia's hand trembled as she reached for her glass. Robert tugged at his tie. Ashley gripped her phone, her knuckles turning white. Andrew hesitated. "You'd like the manager, now?" "Yes, right now." Jennifer's voice didn't rise, but it was filled with strength. Something had changed in her. She was no longer going to pretend everything was okay. Just then, a calm voice broke the silence. "Sorry to keep you waiting." The restaurant's manager, James Hartman, appeared. He was a tall man in his 60s with gray hair, wearing a black tuxedo. He looked experienced and calm. "Miss Miller," he said with respect, "how can we assist you?" Jennifer looked at him and smiled. Jennifer stood calmly as Manager Hartman looked at her with curiosity. Her voice was soft but steady. "Thank you, no, I only wanted to check the time of the reservation." Just then, the large restaurant doors opened again, and a familiar voice echoed through the room. "Good evening, father-in-law. I was just passing by." Michael walked in confidently, wearing the same navy suit from earlier that day, but now, he seemed different, stronger, more assured. His steps were quiet but full of purpose. "Michael," Robert's voice shook as he stared at his son-in-law in surprise. Even Manager Hartman's professional smile changed. His eyes lit up with recognition and respect. "Mr. Miller," he said quickly, "we've been expecting you." Everyone at the table noticed it, the manager's tone, his body language, it was all different now. The way he spoke to Michael was nothing like the way he had treated the rest of the family. "Let me pull up the reservation," Hartman said, tapping on a tablet. The Wilson party had a confirmed reservation at 6 p.m. "What?" Ashley cried, stunned. "And there were instructions for Miss Jennifer Miller to arrive at 7:30 p.m. Patricia turned pale. Robert leaned heavily back in his chair, looking suddenly older. Even Ashley's confident smile had disappeared. Her face went blank, and she slowly looked down at her phone. Michael stood calmly beside Jennifer. "There's something I'd like to explain," he said, "but I'd prefer to do it at our restaurant." Ashley snapped her head up. "Our what? What do you mean your restaurant?" She looked around in confusion, as if the walls might confirm her doubts. "You're just an IT guy." Michael didn't get angry. He smiled gently, but his eyes held something different now, something strong. Manager Hartman cleared his throat and added politely, "Mr. Miller is the owner of 5 high-end restaurants in Chicago, including this one. All have earned Michelin stars." Ashley's mouth dropped open. "And," Michael said quietly, "Jennifer is the main shareholder. This restaurant, Lucille Blue, is mostly hers." There was silence at the table. Patricia's hand shook so much her champagne glass almost tipped over. Robert looked completely stunned, unable to speak. Ashley stared at Jennifer as if she was seeing her for the first time. "Why didn't you tell us?" Robert asked, his voice weak and cracking. Jennifer met his eyes. "Because we didn't think we needed to. We didn't want to act like wealth mattered more than love or respect." Suddenly, Robert stood up, then dropped to his knees on the marble floor. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." His voice trembled, his hands pressed flat against the floor, and people from nearby tables turned to look. "The company, our company, is falling apart. We've been drowning in debt since the crash in 2008, but I didn't want anyone to know. My pride wouldn't let me ask for help." Patricia couldn't hold back anymore. Her makeup began to smear as tears rolled down her face. "We tried to pretend. We kept acting rich because we were scared of what people would say." Michael's tone stayed calm and gentle. "Dad, why didn't you come to us?" Ashley suddenly jumped to her feet, crying. "It's my fault," she sobbed. I failed at my job. I only got one sale in 2 years, but Dad still kept me on as director. I didn't deserve it. Jennifer looked at her sister, shocked. I was jealous, Ashley admitted, wiping her face with her sleeve. You had everything, your job, your marriage. I hated how perfect you were, so I acted mean. I'm sorry, Jennifer, I'm really sorry. Soft classical music played in the background, adding emotion to the already intense moment. Jennifer stood, the soft blue fabric of her dress shimmering under the lights. Her voice was strong but kind. Mom, Dad, please get up. They slowly lifted their heads. Jennifer looked at them not with anger, but with calm understanding. I'm not mad, but things have to change. I want us to be a real family, not fake, not proud, just real. Michael nodded beside her. Dad, I'll introduce you to a team of experts. We can help with the company. It's not too late. Jennifer's voice turned firm. But we have to be honest from now on. No more pretending. Ashley wiped away another tear. I want that too. A real relationship, not based on lies or showing off. Outside, the city lights glowed warmly. The full moon hung high in the sky, watching over them like a silent witness. Inside the restaurant, the lights dimmed slightly, making the candles on each table shine more gently. Manager Hartman stood back respectfully, quietly witnessing a moment unlike any other in his long career. Robert slowly sat up straighter, wiping his eyes. There was a new light in them, something honest and hopeful. Jennifer, thank you for giving us a second chance. Patricia dabbed her cheeks with a small handkerchief, her voice shaking with emotion. We're sorry, truly sorry. Ashley took a hesitant step toward her sister. From now on. Jennifer opened her arms and pulled her sister into a hug. Yes, from now on, let's be true sisters. Michael smiled as he watched the women embrace. Then he raised a hand and gestured to the waiter. Let's have a real toast tonight, as a real family. New glasses of champagne were poured. The golden liquid sparkled under the candlelight, shimmering like a symbol of a new beginning. And for the first time in years, the Wilson family shared a moment of honest peace.